Saved again by bow-legged and Ripperson.
Ripperson? Ripperson.
Hashtag Ripperson. This is the Dutton Ranch. We were there together. You missed the biker scene. I really enjoyed this sequence as a whole. It's a 3-act piece in the car together on the way, getting out, trying to defuse it. Hey! Act 2, and then Teeter deciding to tee off on the first dude.
You kind of roll up, we see all the bikes, and then we see all they're just sitting around a fire, and you're like, okay, well, how is this gonna go down?
It's too early to get in a fight.
We pretty much had like 4 or 5 people, bikers per individual.
Yeah.
That
was
we
a
were
rough
looking
day.
for. It was I slept pretty well that night. I definitely had a lavender bath.
We always
So
get
it's fun.
whooped. We're not out there just like,
1, 2, yeah.
We're like just getting
Taking this,
beaten.
throwing over shoulders, down the ground. And we didn't have any stunt doubles that day.
No.
Yeah, we did it all.
Let me guess, this is your field. You gonna burn it?
That night when we shot the scene where those boys that we'd beaten up in the bikers came back, and we're there with the guns and the kit and, you know, our police gear, and so we're watching to take a cue from John Dutton, and he says,
I want you to dig.
it was such a serious moment, and of course I'd read the script, I know he's gonna eventually let him go, but as he's talking and he tells him about who he is and what this land is and explains it to him,
This field's mine. That fence, mine.
it's just so serious. Even though I fully know well what's not, I got so caught up in it every time. And I'm looking at the other guys and I'm thinking, is he doing something different than we're supposed to do here?
Right.
He's a bad, I have to say. And we, all of us, Cole and Luke, that night, we were like, this is legit.
Yeah.
It was very solemn, and the tone was, it's just no joke.
I have children. So do I. From what I've seen, yours will be better off without you.
I never get to be outside the show, but in that moment, I was watching Yellowstone. And I've never actually seen Yellowstone the way the audience sees it. None of us have, because
You
can't, it's impossible.
I don't think we'll be seeing them again. Nope.
Welcome.
Thanks, guys.
How you doing back there, baby?
Fine, thanks.
Okay. She ought to be up here on Mama's lap, but that's all right. It's okay. Teeter likes to get real close to you. She's talking to you. And sometimes she might want to touch you a little bit, get all up in your personal space.
Can you not?
It's all right, baby.
Okay, so how you feel right now? This is what makes it so fascinating, to try to hold that space while she's doing this.
And you don't think you're any different than Teeter. In terms of physical space.
You was done with that, wasn't you?
I have gum in my mouth now because I'm like a little meta, you guys. I used gum in the audition because I just felt like she was somebody who dipped. And fun fact, I went to the dentist. Now I'm using fake dip, right, for all those scenes. You're the one who I guess had experience with it before. You're like, do not use that stuff until you roll on the day. You're gonna get a canker sore.
Yeah, that.
Which I did.
Among other things.
In addition to, I hadn't seen my dentist in about 4 months. And I go in for my cleaning, and I have a massive cavity in between my 2 front teeth where I was shooting the artificial tobacco, because that stuff is made out of like corn syrup and hope or something. I mean, it's just like, you know, liquid cavity shooting out.
Talk to me about the experience of dipping. How much practicing did you do?
A lot, and then a lot of my practice went out the window because I don't know if any of you have this experience, but my adrenaline kicks pretty hard before I start shooting, and the where that shows up the most is in my hands. So they suddenly aren't doing everything that I'm wanting them to do, or my brain is telling them to do. So even though I walked around for months, like practicing this thing, which I like now no longer can do, on the day I couldn't do it at all, and I ended up having to pack the dip against my belt buckle. I think Cole Hauser was like, girl, let me help you out.
I like that girl.
The biker fight, you came in, we were trying to be pretty cool, and you came in and threw the first punch. Do you enjoy that physical side, like fighting and the horses? I mean, do you like that stuff? Are you into it? Because that's hard work.
It's my favorite.
That is fun.
Because you're completely out of your head.
Yeah.
And it's like sports. And I come from a sport background. And I think most of us come from a sport background. Sorry, I was throwing a look at you
Badminton champion,
I was
by the way.
Yes.
Badminton
We all do sports. We're all great at sports.
Really?
Yeah, seriously.
Are you kidding me?
It is college, yeah, seriously. No
Badmittens.
jokes. No
This
joke.
kid right here.
That is very classy. That's
Yeah.
like a very
But
classy.
he doesn't like to talk
I
about
don't bring it up a whole lot because it's like we all are stupendous athletes. Yes, we've all accomplished tremendous things in terms of athletics and sports. But that's not what we're here to talk about.
But if we could, if we wanted to.
We could forever, at length. But I'm not going to hijack the whole thing.
Oh, yeah, Jimmy, we saw you out there looking just like Andrea Fapani.
Who? Talking about stunts and performing fights. And...
Yeah, I mean, I love it. Do you guys love it? I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I
You have
like
mixed
it. I don't
feelings
like it
about
as
it.
much as you do.
I love it.
Because I think it happens kicking on a much more regular basis.
You know, you have so many things to do. We're getting in fights with bikers. You're on horses. You're.
The
I
elements.
mean, there's no way to really plan for any of it, right?
No.
Like, how did you?
I learned that on the cow day.
Get it, hop.
You first said, welcome to Yellowstone. And
Yeah.
then I'm pretty sure you called it Yellowstone Light. Because I was like, this is a big deal. I was like, this is some dangerous. You can't look afraid.
Right.
You know, you just like hear your job ending on the other side of your fear if you give into it. So you're like,
Right.
I'm not afraid of anything, even if I don't know how to ride a horse.
Right.
Which I did by the time I went on.
She's a hand.
Yeah, you were amazing. I remember you being so nervous about riding, and then you were incredible. Will you talk about your background with horses a little?
And I've been bawling and dragging since I could bounce piss off a rug.
I grew up with horses. My mom had a really bad fall. She got thrown off a horse and her foot got stuck in the stirrup and she was dragged around an arena. And that was sort of the end of
That.
horse days.
Yeah.
I think I absorbed some of that fear. So Taylor, you know, I rode enough. Taylor hooked me up with his guy out in LA, and then of course the people out in Utah. On a show like this, which is so great, is you can kind of live it. You can live that life a little more. And I don't know if you guys felt this way at all, but it was sort of hard to go back into to go away and to not be riding horses and.
Takes a little bit of time to adjust.
It's a pretty special scenario that we've built up.
It's a pretty freaky cool job.
Every road from the rodeo leads right here.
For so many people, I think that doing anything with Kevin Costner on camera, just period, would be extremely intimidating.
Nauseous and confused is your natural state of being.
Obviously, you've been around him for 3 years, but I would imagine having such a meaty scene to do when you're physically not able to use all of kind of like maybe your tools that you would be able to use in all of your other scenes.
Yeah.
On top of that, you're also like not fully clothed, which I think that clothes as an artist kind of give you a sense of security. What was that like, doing that scene with Kevin?
Kevin's like such a brilliant minimalist. Like he's so incredible at just like living almost it's seemingly effortlessly in space. And to do a scene with Kevin where I'm like strapped to a bed and can't move, like I'm a sort of minimalist by necessity.
Congratulations for that.
I think it's easy as an actor to like hide in. Like if you watch these segments, I'm sort of always reaching around and like touching stuff, and it's a way to like release tension. It's a way to like sort of ground
energy
yourself
center.
in a space. I mean, all that gets stripped away, and like all you can move is like your mouth and your eyes.
Right.
That's a deeply intimidating experience because I think then the temptation becomes to do way too much. And I haven't seen this scene yet, but if you take all the moving around that I do with my whole body and you put that right in my face, this would be the whole scene. I'd be like, Kevin, what do you mean? You mean I can't rodeo anymore?
No more rodeo.
And it's amazing to be in the room with one of the best actors of his generation in that context, because you look at Kevin and he's a reminder to like breathe, relax.
Yeah.
He's such a sort of easygoing, kind, generous presence on set.
Learn the rope. All you're risking is a thumb, and you got 2 of those.
I don't know if I can be in a relationship with someone who shows such poor judgment.
First butt I ever saw was in the film Waterworld,
Yeah.
and now I've shown my butt on television, and it just really makes me smile to think that out there might be a young Jeff watching
Right.
Yellowstone and seeing his first human.
Waterworld was the first time I saw a woman's butt.
So in a lot of ways, I think that Kevin is
That's 6 espressos catching up with
responsible.
you. Just go.
Kevin is in part responsible for
Freezing a woman's
sort of
butt.
formative, like a formative experience for a prepubescent Jefferson White. Waterworld.
What you're saying, you saw a butt in Waterworld.
Yeah.
That was your first butt on TV.
Yeah.
Then now your butt is on TV, and you're thinking about someone watching your butt
Yeah.
on TV, and where does that end?
I think, one of the big themes this season is legacy.
It's just turtles all the way down.
You know, is this idea of
Do they now go into
legacy.
acting so that they can show their butt because
Exactly.
of you?
Yeah,
What
am
if
I
it started?
in an elevator?
Perpetuating a cycle of exploitation?
That's what
I
I'm
don't
saying.
know.
It was yours,
My butt.
not a stunt butt.
My own
stuff.
butt.
Wow.
They asked me, they said, hey, we can get any number of stunt butts in here. It's gonna be hard to match your butt. You know, my butt's a hard butt to match.
Because you have the scar, so it's a hard.
I've got the scars. It's a very specific butt,
But,
as any of Yellowstone's 35 billion viewers could tell you. Those are the real numbers. We just looked.
I feel like we should explore this deeper.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that me and my therapist will be talking about for a long time, so we don't
good.
necessarily
Well,
need
we don't
to
need to spend the time to do it
explore
here.
it
Okay, well,
here.
that's good. As long as you've addressed it.